My name is Khadija Whitmore, and I am presenting my market and consumer research analysis for my capstone client. My capstone client is Stand Up Survivor, located in Orlando, Florida, and it was founded by Lisa Alexandra. Stand Up Survivor is a 501c3 organization, nonprofit organization based in Orlando that focuses on raising awareness of domestic violence, providing services to survivors, educating the local community, and providing resources for survivors to live a healthy life after abuse. The mission of this organization is to educate, empower, and equip those who are survivors, as well as the community, organizations, churches, and schools. Right now, Stand Up Survivor has 132,000 Facebook followers and 19,000 Instagram followers. The main forms of communication are social media, word of mouth, and newsletters. Stand Up Survivor has a positive reputation, and the goal of the social media campaign is to increase social media reach on Facebook and Instagram by 10% by June 2023. And here's a SWOT analysis of Stand Up Survivor. So, a strength that Stand Up Survivor is that they have consistent social media messages. A weakness that Stand Up Survivor has is they must rely on donations to run day to day operations. An opportunity for Stand Up Survivor is that follower interaction has shown the organization has had a positive impact, and a threat for Stand Up Survivor is the social perception of domestic violence survivors, which prevents people from speaking up or recognizing domestic violence. While there is no direct competition, there is some indirect competition for Stand Up Survivor. So, Stand Up Survivor is an organization that does collaborate to work for the best of survivors. So, the National Domestic Violence Hotline had 96,000 Facebook followers and 46,000 Instagram followers by the end of 2021. Harbor House of Central Florida does offer housing and shelter, access to legal aid, counseling services, and a 24/7 hotline. And Break the Silence against domestic violence seeks to bridge the gap in services between emergency shelters, direct service providers, government agencies, academic institutions, businesses, and the community. The target market is women ages 25 to 34. Their education level ranges from high school to college graduate, and their annual household income is between 20,000 and 70,000. And for our buyer persona, we have Katie Monroe. She is 25 years old. She lives in Orlando, Florida. She's a stay at home mom with two children, ages 5 and 7. She is a college graduate, but she doesn't work. Her annual household income is $50,000. And right now, Katie is in a situation where she doesn't feel safe. She feels like her partner is very controlling, and she fears for the safety of herself and her children. And she's looking for an organization that can help her and her children get to a safe environment. Domestic violence can come in many forms: emotional, verbal, physical, financial, and sexual. Those who are survivors are 3 times as likely to meet the criteria for PTSD, twice as likely to develop symptoms of depression, and 3 times more likely to develop a major depressive order. So 54% of Facebook users are female, and 51% of Instagram users are female. And women typically spend about 2 hours a day on social media networks. The purpose of this research is to determine the needs of domestic violence survivors. So, this includes local resources, information on domestic violence and its impact, how friends and family members can best support. And this survey will be conducted via Google Form, which is user friendly and will allow for qualitative and quantitative questions. The primary research design was a survey targeted to people who have experienced domestic violence in an intimate partner relationship. The survey was posted to social media and targeted some Facebook groups. The survey was also sent out to members of Lambda Theta Alpha Latin Sorority Incorporated, and the participants were given the opportunity to participate and share information they felt comfortable sharing. And so now we're going to get into our research results. So for this first survey, there were 15 participants. 100% of them identified as female. 4 out of 5 of them identified as Latino, Hispanic, or of Spanish descent. And the age ranges were between 18 and 54. So as far as the open-ended questions, which were the questions that were very impactful, so participants reported feelings of self-doubt, worthlessness, depression, anxiety, loneliness, and fear for safety when they were attempting to leave the relationship. Some obstacles that stood in their way was lack of support system, access to legal aid, financial dependence, and housing. Participants reported that the following resources remained available to them prior to leaving. So having a support system, social media content focused on domestic violence, the National Domestic Violence Hotline, and therapy. Some resources that were not available were access to affordable therapy, domestic violence shelter or housing, career resources, legal aid, and support groups. And information that would have been beneficial for participants while they were in the abusive relationship were signs of abuse, tactics of abusers, more information about all forms of abuse, abuse escalation, gaslighting tactics, and the impacts of domestic violence on mental health. And so some of the resources that participants reported having were access to school counselors, family and friends, and access to housing. So, conclusion. So, just using all of this information, social media content can be created that is catered to the needs of domestic violence survivors. So, this is a great insight to create meaningful content that will reach domestic violence survivors wherever they are in their journeys. So, the plan is to have another survey go out and adding the following questions. 1. How long were you in the abusive relationship? 2. What was your marital status during the abusive relationship? And about how many attempts did it take for you to be able to leave the situation for good? Okay, this is the end of my presentation, and here are a list of my resources, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you.